Thumbing through Facebook recently, some quality content really stood out to me that I just had to click on and find out more information about. It's a page called the Sunday Roast. They roast things, preferably on a Sunday. I took a look at their Facebook page. Apparently they're produced by Detector Studio Limited, based somewhere in London. And they claim to produce a golden standard of edutainment journalism. Okay, Mormons and their dietary rules. 6 men who fell victim to the Kardashian curse. That's 14 things Turkey does best. Warren Buffett eats McDonald's for breakfast and drinks 5 cans of Coke a day. What is this? Warren Buffett still eats like a 6-year-old and proudly proclaims it. Well, let's have a look at this.
Warren Buffett eats McDonald's for breakfast and drinks 5 cans of Coke a day. Buffett still eats like a 6-year-old. Here are some facts.
Like a 6-year-old. It's quality edutainment journalism here at Sunday Roast. All the same template format and always voiced over by one of those horrible fake voiceover AI generated voices. We take a look at their homepage here, Detector Studios, about them. At Detector, we create a digital media for curious people who want to know more about history, biology, science, and news that matters. Our goal is to present interesting, visually compelling stories that will help satisfy intellectual curiosity and spend a few free minutes with benefit and pleasure. We want you not to waste your time and become intellectually richer. Instead, wait, what? They want us to not waste our time or become intellectually richer? Oh, I'm confused. Instead of just being bored or having fun, but we're not allowed to have fun? The Detector was created for all people who are convinced that knowledge is the highest value, which we all must share with others. And actually, maybe that's paying off because look at their bio here. 4.2 million followers. Maybe they're doing something right, producing really basic, low-hanging fruit content like this. Anyway, one video of theirs in particular really stood out to me. And it was this one. 16 reasons why an American wouldn't fit in New Zealand. And of course, I had to click on this. If you're an American coming to New Zealand, apparently you're not going to fit in because of these reasons. I mean, does this guy look American? Is he fitting in?
16 reasons why an American wouldn't fit in New Zealand. 1. The shops have short working hours.
Okay.
Many retail stores only work till 5 p.m. on weekdays.
Only 5 p.m. weekdays? Yeah, I'd say that's mostly true, especially in places like downtown Auckland, Wellington, CBD areas. You know, after 5 p.m. it pretty much clears out and it's empty. So why would you keep your shop open after 5 p.m. when there's no people around? Again, the restaurants and bars are still open, so...
Sundays, they close at 1 p.m.
Sundays
in resort
close
areas.
At 1 p.m. Maybe when I was a little kid, I can vaguely remember a lot of things being closed on a Sunday. It was a pretty quiet, boring day, but Jesus, that was a long, long time ago. In fact, I'd say there's not much else to do in New Zealand than go shopping on a Sunday. All the malls are open till about 5 or 6.
Most stores have extended hours. They typically work till 9 p.m.
In resort areas, yeah.
Public transport is unreliable.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
Doesn't travel to some suburbs at all. In
Maybe.
big cities, buses are rarely on time.
Kinda
3.
true.
There are few trash bins in public spots.
What?
City councils try to cut costs, so they remove bins from public spaces. 4. Clothes shopping is limited.
I think they're talking about Auckland there. There was some news last year when the new mayor who got in said, we got to cut costs everywhere. So let's get rid of bins. Where I live, though, and a lot of places I've been to, there's plenty of bins all over.
You won't find anything special in terms of clothes or shoes.
Clothes shopping.
Global brands are present only in big cities.
And what's wrong with buying all your clothes and shoes at the warehouse? Well, they got a point here. You will find some of the big designer brands in some parts of New Zealand, but they tend to be in places like airports or downtown where a lot of tourists might go. But, we're far away from a lot of places. Some of the big fashion centers like, Europe and Tokyo, New York, places like that. You'll find big brands here. But, yeah, they're kind of right. You'll pay a lot of money for them.
But the prices are way higher than in the U.S. 5. There is no central heating. New Zealanders live in badly insulated wooden houses.
Kind of true on this one, actually. New Zealand's old wooden houses from about the sort of late 19th century, early to mid 20th century are notoriously cold and damp and not really built with any sort of climate considerations at all.
But less than 5% of the
I'd say
homes
this
have
is
central
kinda true,
heating.
though.
People simply can afford it. They use heat pumps and portable heaters instead. 6.
Yeah.
Menu is very limited.
Menu
New
very
Zealand
limited.
cuisine is
What
mainly
menu?
of British
Whose menu is very limited? New Zealand cuisine is mainly of British origins. I'm intrigued by this. Carry on.
origins. Most restaurants offer identical meals.
What is
Cafes
that?
are limited to scones.
Cafes are limited to scones, muffins, rolls. What's wrong with a muffin or a roll?
Muffins, rolls, pies, and tarts.
Tarts?
Restaurants mostly have pizzas, chips, and steaks.
Sounds pretty bloody good to me. Jesus.
New
Where'd they get that information from? Mostly of British origin? Well, I get the feeling some of this information was compiled by someone who came to New Zealand about, I don't know, 40, 50 years ago and, had to just make do with a pie or a tart, whatever that is. If you've been in New Zealand the last 30 years or so, there's loads of cafes around and you can get just about anything you want. The menus are pretty big and comprehensive. There's loads of crap you can buy at cafes in New Zealand.
Zealand may be famous for its sheeps.
Famous for sheeps. Okay, interesting. I was thinking that a lot of this content is written by AI, but AI would get spelling and grammar right, at least. But lamb and
cheeses are of a poor quality there.
What? Well, them's fighting words right there. New Zealand's pretty famous for its lamb and cheese, and I'm really sure people wouldn't buy if it was of a poor quality.
7. There is no liquor in stores.
No liquor in stores. No liquor in stores?
You can only buy hard liquor in liquor shops. It means that you should always plan ahead. These shops
Oh, always plan ahead, pissheads. Sounds like this guy came to New Zealand. Well, this American, apparently, who had trouble fitting in, came to New Zealand about 40, 50 years ago, was an absolute drunk, and couldn't get enough hard liquor because it wasn't available in shops. They're right, we do have liquor stores. They're usually closed by 9 p.m. You can get a big selection of wine, a bit of spirits, beers and supermarkets. It's everywhere.
shops are usually closed by 9 p.m. 8. New Zealander has a drinking problem.
Which New Zealander has a drinking problem? Oh, it says many New Zealanders now. Okay.
Many New Zealanders drink every day after work.
Wow.
1 in 10 can be considered drunkards.
Drunkards. There's a word I haven't heard since the 1700s. New Zealanders are drunkards, I tell you. Drunkards. Oh, this is going to be a good one. New Zealanders are lazy. Well, you could be onto something here.
New Zealanders are lazy. They far more often go on breaks, or they just stay at one place doing nothing. You'll have
That's right. When you come to New Zealand, the first thing you'll notice is just people just staying in one place doing absolutely nothing at all.
to ask them to help you, even though it's part of their job. It gets very, very cold in New Zealand.
Very, very
As
cold.
long as it is sunny, it may seem pleasantly warm,
Hey, there's a shock. Sunshine warm. But when it's cold, it's what?
but it's cold in the shade because of the Antarctic wind.
The Antarctic winds. Oh, I think I've explained this to quite a few people from outside New Zealand. You look at a map and you might say, oh gosh, New Zealand's awfully close to the Antarctic, isn't it? Well, it's actually no closer to the pole than like Milan is to the North Pole. Yeah, we're a pretty mild country though, surrounded by ocean. Summers aren't that hot. Winters are not that cold. It's gonna feel a lot worse in winter if you're living in one of our typical houses though.
And freezing nights happen even during summer. 11.
No.
There are sandflies.
There are
You can
sandflies.
sit outside without being swarmed by them.
Swarmed by them.
Their bites cause swelling, itching, and hives. The scars are visible even months after the bite.
Oh my God. Don't come to New Zealand. You'll be swarmed by sandflies who will just eat you alive, and the scars will be visible for the rest of your life. Yeah, there are sandflies, especially if you go camping near a river or another body of water or something. I can't say I've ever really had a problem. Insects in general don't seem to like me. Actually, well, a lot of things don't seem to like me, for being honest.
12. Cigarettes are banned.
Are
In
they?
2022, the anti-smoking law ban the sale of tobacco.
No.
Anyone born
this
after
was
January
repealed
1st,
recently.
2009 can't buy cigarettes. The government intends to ban smoking at all
Oh,
by
they were.
2025. It will be difficult to buy tobacco without a prescription. 13.
Old news. Yeah, the previous government that got elected out late last year, they were going to do that. New government has said no, because people spend a lot of money on cigarettes. What is this? There are birds on the roads? This seems bizarre.
There are birds on the roads. Birds sit on the road until you almost run them over. Then they fly away at the...
Oh my God. Take heed of this, Americans coming to New Zealand. You will not fit in. There are birds on the road. Then they almost fly away at the last minute. My God.
last minute. Often the car only just barely misses
You'll
them.
barely miss
or
them.
they simply fly across the road, right in front of the car. 14.
Of all the reasons, this seems like the most bizarre one.
The internet connection is bad. Home internet comes with a limited bandwidth.
Well,
You have
home internet, as he calls it. Yeah, I don't know. When high-speed internet was a fairly new thing back in the early 2000s, it was kind of expensive, yeah, and you had to worry about data caps. If anyone is old enough to remember the first sort of data cap plans you used to get from your internet provider back in the early 2000s, yeah, it was always tight.
to pay a fortune for unlimited access. Even in hostels, it's rarely free. You can either pay $2 for 24 hours or $7 for 7 days.
Doesn't sound like such a bad deal to me.
15. Hostels lack security. New
Do
Zealand
they?
has a relaxed attitude
Can't really
towards
comment on this,
security.
not staying in
Some
hostels
hostels at
very
least
often.
have a lock on all the doors, but usually the entire place is open during the day. 16. New Zealand is expensive.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
goods are imported.
True.
They can cost almost twice as much as in the US.
Yeah, that's kind of true. New Zealand famously expensive these days, and partly because, like they say, we do import a lot of stuff. And we're very far away. It costs a lot of money to bring that stuff to New Zealand. We're paying through the nose for everything in New Zealand. Well, there you go. Sunday Roast just roasted us in New Zealand. What do you think, Americans? If you're an American who's here in New Zealand, have you fit in? Have you killed birds on the road? Have you frozen to death yet? How are you doing only being able to order pizza, scones, and what do they call it? What do they say? Tarts? And are you a hard alcoholic? Can you survive with not being able to get hard liquor in the shops? And that's if you can get any help from the locals who are all fat, lazy drunkards, as Sunday Roast calls us. Yeah, what do you reckon? Why not leave a comment? Let us know. Anyway, that's Sunday Roast, quality edutainment journalism. Who knows, we might take another look at some of their quality content a little bit later on in another video that I will make eventually whenever I feel like it. See ya.